August 20th, 2006, I was driving to church. I never made it. I was hit head-on by a drunk driver. He hit me going 60 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. The force of the crash caused the front end of my car to collapse on both of my legs, crushing both of my legs. The steering wheel to go into my chest, causing my lung to collapse and be punctured. My head hit the windshield, my arms, the battery in my car exploded, covered my arms with battery acid. I thought it was going to be like, one of those medical shows you see on TV, with the ER and so forth, that they'd put me back together and, give me some cast and do this and do that, and I'd be just fine. And the doctor told me, no, that's not quite how this thing works. He said, you've effectively, Mr. Ray, had 20 to 25 years knocked off your life. I was in a wheelchair for a year, and I had to get a prosthetic, and that's something I live with every day. I think, however, the hardest thing for me, other than the physical part of it, the hardest part was watching the suffering it caused my family, that it caused my wife and my daughter. It's hard when you can't support your family. That was the hardest. And sadly, as much as that hurt, it's also what almost destroyed my family and almost destroyed my marriage. The very first time I saw the man that hit me was in court. He was decrepit looking. He'd had issues with drugs and alcohol. And his very first DUI, when he was 16 years old, he hit a 5-year-old child and ran him over and killed him down in Stockton, California. This was his 4th DUI. I had absolutely no feeling of compassion for this man whatsoever. I was so angry, and he had cost me so much. I wanted him to suffer for what he had done to me and to my family. But as I looked at God's Word, as I went to Matthew, as I went to the Sermon on the Mount, as I went to Matthew 18, God commands us to forgive one another, to forgive others. And no, I realized that how I felt and what I needed to do were two different things. And so my prayers originally began with, Lord, I know what you want me to do, but I don't have the strength to do it. Would you give me the strength to do it? If your faith truly lives within me, Lord, make me like you. I can't do it, but here I am. Do it for me. And that is a prayer that God always answers, yes. And the first thing that God did is he took me not to what it meant to forgive him, but what it meant that he had forgiven me. The idea that our God, our Father, would send his only Son to die on a cross for my sins, to forgive me. It was a process. I had to work on it. Every day I had to struggle with it. Every day I had to give it over to God. And this accident happened now 13 years ago. And still, many times, I have to go back to God and give it back to him. This really took on a very practical role for us. He owed a restitution order of $1.5 million, and there was no way he could pay it. And my wife and I said, if we truly forgive this man, if we truly forgive his debts, as we forgive us our debts, Lord, as we forgive our debtors, we ask the judge to rescind or to forgive the debt that he directly owed us. God did some incredible things in my life as a result of that forgiveness. It was like a sword dropping from my hand. It set me free, it kept me from being bitter, and allowed me to move forward with my life. Forgive. It's the best decision you will ever make. My name is Darrin Ray. This is my story.